Good morning. Welcome to Season 3, Session 3 of our 360 SOC video series. I'm Chris Ichelson, founder and CEO. Pleasure to be here with you today, and thank you for tuning into my video series. Today we're going to talk a little bit about our Managed Endpoint by 360 SOC. What does that mean? What does it bring to the table? How does it work with your current EDR solution? Whether you're using a Webroot or a Carbon Black or a CrowdStrike, how's that going to engage with your current solution? Is there any overlap? And what does it look like in a fully managed solution by 360 SOC? So let's go ahead and dive right in. So Managed Endpoint by 360 SOC. The nice things about it is, works with your current EDR. Okay? That's always a great thing. Something that layers on top, brings more value to the table. It's lightweight. That's important. Some of the biggest struggles I hear out in the field when people are starting to talk about adding more to the endpoint is, what kind of resources is that going to suck? Is it controllable? That's another thing. Controllable resources. So that our managed endpoint security solution, that lightweight agents that's going to live on top of your current EDR solution, lightweight, controllable, and you can monitor it. We can throttle it back or we can increase those speeds. Gives us the ability also to scan the device. We're going to store those scans as part of our managed EDR solution. We're going to store those for 90 days. Going to give our analysts the ability to go back and look from day to day what has changed on that device. When it comes time to a critical security event, that becomes ever more important because we can simply go look at a scan from today versus 3 days ago. And when we look at that scan, we could identify what possibly has changed. Is there a new file, a new DLL, or a new process that is in the auto run folder? What is going on? Why is this device acting weird? And what is different? Taking that managed endpoint further, it's going to give us that forensic visibility to do what we love to do, which is breadcrumb your environment. It's going to give us the ability to breadcrumb the endpoint. That becomes critical when it comes time to, going outside the box, going outside those rules, those correlations, those things that have been built historically. The other things we're going to do is machine learning and behavioral monitoring. More importantly, UEBA. Other things this is going to give us the ability to do on our managed endpoint is track the vulnerabilities, so vulnerability management, which is nice. So those of you guys that have devices that are on network or off network, possibly you're relying on a quarterly, bi-yearly, or annual scan. Maybe you're not doing things like continuous monitoring. We'll go ahead and provide that as well, continuous monitoring from a vulnerability standpoint on that managed endpoint. Other things that we're doing with the managed endpoint is threat hunting. So looking for 0 days, looking for anomalous activity, weird, things that are weird. Other things are remediation. So that becomes ever more important, and that branches me into how do we remediate. So from a remediation standpoint, something wonky ends up on the device. What do we do with it? Well, that's a great question. If it's wonky, and it's wonky high, we're going to go ahead and isolate this device for you for investigation. And then our team, our award-winning team, will come in here and we'll start investigating, whether that's, download the file, sandbox, whether that's leverage threat intelligence, TI, reach out, engage for more information, We're going to block block in real time. In addition, we're going to block on your firewall too, which helps us create that kind of walk, run, marathon process with our customers. Because when they start seeing that, something wonky comes in on the endpoint, we got the endpoint, and we got this bad here. And if this comes on here, do we really want to wait 6, 12 hours for a customer or a client to respond? If we know it's bad and threat intel says it's bad, shouldn't we place it in jail? Get the right answers, facilitate a path. This is just a few of the things we're doing with our managed EDR, managed endpoint by 360 SOC. Other things we're doing, retention. As we know in the latest breach, this became ever more important. If you didn't have the logs, you couldn't investigate. If you didn't have the capture, there was no way to investigate. Having data about your endpoints for an extended amount of time makes it critical for breaches that become where they've been there for 8 to 14 months, like in the SolarWinds case. Never has it become more important to have retention of your critical security events and what's coming across your network. With our managed EDR, our managed 360 SOC EDR, we give customers unlimited retention with searchability for up to 100 gigs per instance. Guys, this gives you the ability to store those Windows logs, those Mac logs. This gives you the ability to recall them. Our customers are seeing retention of 12 to 18 months. In the case of SolarWinds, that would have helped in these customers' cases investigate those logs. 360 SOC, managed EDR, 360 SOC, managed SOC services, award-winning, brought to you by myself, 360 SOC CEO Chris Ichelson. It's truly been a pleasure spending a few minutes with you today. Hopefully you've learned a little bit more about our managed endpoint by 360 SOC. And should you need to reach out or would like more information, we'd love to show you a demo, show you what you're doing, what we're doing over here. Info@360soc.com or 866-278-5578. Feel free to reach out anytime, and thank you for tuning in.